Year Ones! Today our learning challenge in writing is I can write a sentence. We are going to think about the story of Funnybones and we are going to write some sentences about what happens in the story. If you haven't already, you need to watch the video of me reading Funnybones. So if you haven't done that now, you can pause the video and re-listen to the story. I know you listened to it last week, but I thought it would be great if you could listen to it again today to help you with today's writing lesson. Once you are done with listening to the story being read, we are going to start writing our sentences. Now we're going to try and keep our sentences in the right order of the things that of the way they happen in the book, if that's possible. And we are also going to try and use those interesting adjectives and verbs that we learned about last week. So for example, we won't be writing the sentence, they went to the shop. We're going to add interesting adjectives and verbs. So we would write, instead of they went to the shop, we might write they crept to the haunted shop or something like that. So first I need to think about what happens right at the beginning of the story. And I know that at the beginning of the story, the two skeletons decide to take the dog for a walk. But instead of just they went for a dog walk or they took the dog on a walk, we need to add some interesting verbs and adjectives. So for my first sentence, I'm going to write, one foggy night, two spooky skeletons walked their bony dog. One foggy night, two spooky skeletons walked their bony dog. So I'm going to try and remember that sentence, it's quite a long one. I'm starting with one foggy night because that adjective foggy is really good. I need a capital letter at the start of my sentence. It goes up to the top dotty line. One, and then I'm going to put my finger space in. And now I'm thinking about the word foggy. I'm going to use my phonics to sound it out. O-G-E, foggy. O-G-E, foggy. One foggy night. I that we did in phonics this morning, and then night. One foggy night. Two spooky. Spooky. Now I can't fit the word skeletons in here, so I'm going to write it underneath. Two spooky skeletons. One foggy night, two spooky skeletons took their bony dog for a walk. In book, and then took their bony dog, dog, or finger space, walk. And now, I almost forgot my full stop then. I need to remember to put my full stop at the end of my sentence. And now I'm just going to read through it to check that it makes sense. One foggy night, two spooky skeletons took their bony dog for a walk. I think that sentence is really good and I'm really happy with it because I can see that it's got a capital letter at the beginning, it's got a full stop at the end, it's got finger spaces, and I've used lots of adjectives and my phonics. Foggy, spooky and bony are all really good describing words. Okay, so now I need to talk about what they did next. I know that next they went past the shops and they went past the zoo, but I'm trying not to use the word went, so I might write they tiptoed instead of they went. And the shops could be haunted and the zoo could be terrifying. That sounds quite good. They tiptoed past the haunted shops and, which is a good word to use in year one, they tiptoed past the haunted shops and they tiptoed past the terrifying zoo. That's quite a long sentence, but I like it, so I'm going to give it my best shot. Okay, I've got a full stop there, so I know that my word they must need a capital letter at the beginning. They and I'm going to write went. Oh no, I'm not going to write went. I'm going to write tiptoed, because that's a far better word than went. Tip, tip, toed, toad, tiptoed, tiptoed. They tiptoed past, past. They tiptoed past. The is a tricky word that we all know how to spell. They tiptoed past the haunted shop. They tiptoed past the haunted shop. And then I could put a full stop there. They tiptoed past the haunted shop, because that would make sense as a sentence, but instead I'm going to use and. That comes in the middle of my sentence. They tiptoed past the haunted shop and they tiptoed. I definitely can't fit past in there. They tiptoed past the haunted shop and they tiptoed past the terrifying zoo. Zoo. And at the end of my sentence I need a full stop again. I'm going to read through my work from the beginning now. One foggy night, two spooky skeletons took their bony dog for a walk. They tiptoed past the haunted shop and they tiptoed past the terrifying zoo. That sounds great. Now, I know that next they went to the park, so my next sentence is going to be about them going to the park. I'm not using went because I need a better word than went. I've already used tiptoed. How else could they get to the park? They could creep to the park. They could creep to the park. And the park, what would the park be like? If you're going to the park at night, it would definitely be dark and it would probably be quite cold. So we could have they crept to the cold, dark park. I really like that. They crept to the cold, dark park. So I have got a full stop here. So next I need a capital letter. They crept. Let's use our phonics. Crept. Crept. They crept to the cold, dark park. Okay, I'm going to read my work through one more time to check that it makes sense. One foggy night, two spooky skeletons took their bony dog for a walk. They tiptoed past the haunted shop and they tiptoed past the terrifying zoo. They crept to the cold, dark park. I'm really happy with those sentences because they've got capital letters, finger spaces and full stops. And I've tried to use interesting verbs and adjectives that we learned about last week instead of just words like went. So instead of they went to the park, I've written they crept to the cold, dark park. It sounds way better. For your writing task today, year ones, I would like you to try and write 4 or 5 sentences about things that happen in the Funnybones story. Try and be as snazzy as you can using really complex vocabulary. So try and use some of those verbs and adjectives that we learned about last week if you can. If you would like to do a deeper learning task, I would love it if you could use and in the middle of your sentences. And if you would like to magpie any ideas, you feel free to pause the video and magpie some of my sentences and then write a few of your own if you're finding it a little bit tricky. If you would like to send us any pictures on Purple Mr Montgomery and I would love to see them, but you don't have to. And I hope you have a really fun time writing some really fancy descriptive sentences about what happens in the Funnybones story.